Welcome to Worship at Home. My name's Jenny Brooks. I'm a local preacher in the Northampton circuit. And this is Worship at Home for 6th of October. I wanted to think about the letter to the Hebrews this week, because Hebrews is unusual in that we have no certainty about who wrote it or who it was written to. And all of Paul's letters have his name and who he's sending it with and who he's sending this letter to, but this one doesn't. So I read my usual commentaries, and there are many theories, but no consensus. Several theologians think that a likely candidate is Barnabas, who was born in Cyprus, thus making him fluent in Greek, and that's the original language of this letter. Barnabas had Jewish heritage and therefore understood the ideas that are discussed in Hebrews. But Barnabas is a name that we hear in Paul's letters. So why is his name lost from this one? We don't know. Harnack, a German theologian, has a radical idea that the writers of Hebrews could be Aquila and Priscilla. And the reason that the name of the person who wrote it is lost was because Priscilla was a woman and women were not allowed to teach at that time. But while the background to this letter is interesting, the content is probably more important. The writer begins with a summary of their message, and that's what we have in the reading that I've used. Jesus is the Son of God, greater than the angels and the prophets, and the most excellent example for us to follow. The writer uses their knowledge of Psalms and the prophets to praise Jesus and remind his readers that Scripture has prepared us to recognise the Son of God. And much of the content of the letter of Hebrews are statements that we would take for granted, things that we feel are underpinning the whole of our faith. But the writer is clearly concerned that their readers don't lose sight of those fundamental truths, that Jesus is the Son of God and the most important figure in our faith. So sometimes it's helpful to remind ourselves of what we feel might be obvious truths. We can become so familiar with ideas and beliefs that they seem mundane, perhaps less important or valuable. Alternatively, we can become obsessed with one aspect of belief, and the Hebrews writer is concerned that the people they're writing to and they had such a focus on angels. They were obsessed with what angels looked like and what they did and who governed them and how they behaved and how they lived. And so he's trying to remind them that actually that's not their focus. And in Northampton circuit, we're trying to use the holy habits. We're planning to use the holy habits even material within the circuit. And I feel that they are a bit like the letter to the Hebrews, reminding us of basic truths and practice that are fundamental to Christian faith. There are 10 habits, and some of them that occur to me as really interesting, about sharing our resources, about serving each other, about praying together, experiencing gladness and generosity. These are all parts of practicing our faith. And sharing both our faith and our journey together, we enhance and reinforce our understanding of the teachings of Jesus Christ. And this, ultimately, is the purpose of our church, our worship, and our fellowship together.